Welcome back, boys and ghouls. So, next up we're going to talk about blood and latex, and I'm going to show you a few other tips and tricks that I have for your zombification edification. So, first, let's go back to our key points. Eyes and mouth. Now, one trick that I'm going to share with you guys that I have held very dear is Ben Nye Tooth Black. This comes in a couple different colors. They have a red color, which is super creepy. They have a nicotine stain, which is very, very yellow and very rotted looking. I'm actually kind of disappointed that I don't have any of that right now to show you. They also have a green color that is called zombie rot, which is very fun to play with. Now, most of the compliments that I have gotten about my zombie makeup have been about my teeth, which is kind of a weird thing to get a compliment on, but it's one of the tricks that could really set us apart from other zombies. Now, right now, I just kind of look like a very cute girl with some stuff on my face. I don't really look dead yet. We don't have any blood. We don't have any really distinguishing features. We've got bruises, we've got veins, we've got redness, but we want to add a little bit more level of detail. So, one of my favorite things to do as a zombie is black out my teeth. Now, the way that this stuff works is it's almost like a nail polish, which I know doesn't sound appetizing because you're going to put it in your mouth, but I promise you that because this is Ben Nye, this is absolutely 100% made to go inside of your mouth. It is non-toxic. It's absolutely safe. Now, what you need to do is suck on your teeth so they get really, really dry. If your teeth are a little moist, the paint is not going to settle in. It's going to get stuck on your saliva, and it's going to swish around. So what I do is make that really attractive noise. So, and then you can see it has a paint applicator, just like a nail polish. You can make this look like your teeth are missing, like they're chipped, like they've got rotten gook in your gums. It all just depends on what look you want to achieve. Now, I like to do a really spiky row of teeth on the top, and then I like to do some chipping on the bottom. I have dental teeth that you can actually insert into your mouth. I don't super duper recommend them for a show like this where you're going to be making a lot of noise and moving very quickly. So this is quick, dries super duper fast, and it won't come out of your mouth until you brush your teeth or eat something crunchy. Soft foods and liquids are fine, but crunchy things like chips and popcorn, things like that, it'll start flaking off. But again, 100% safe. I promise I won't recommend anything to you guys that is not safe and that I haven't put in my own mouth. So, dry out our teeth. Yeah, there we go. All right. Let it dry. Don't close your mouth yet. Boom. And see how quickly that dries? I can already talk. It's fine. You can't feel it on your teeth. You can kind of sort of feel it if you get it on your gums a little bit. It'll just feel kind of dry. But you see, that creates such a different effect already. I'm already starting to look like a zombie. Now, you don't need to do the pointy chompers like I did. You can just do a nice rotten look. Play with the different colors that you like. The nicotine stain is really fun. And the zombie rot is really fun too. So that's teeth. Again, People are really impressed when you can alter your teeth and when you can alter your eyes. Now, I do not wear special effects contacts. I've never tried them. I've never worn contacts in my eyes or glasses. Knock on wood that I don't have to at some point. So I really can't attest to how well those work. So some of the things I like to do for my eyes are put a lot of blood around them, put a lot of coloring around them, and things of that sort. So next up, let's talk about removal. Removal of this makeup. A lot of people might recommend baby wipes. I don't. Unhappy zombie. I don't like baby wipes because they're not as strong. They don't cut through the cream oil bases that we're using. So it's going to take a lot of them to get it off. It's going to rub your skin raw. I recommend investing in just some regular makeup wipes. Now, I'm a big old Burt's Bees nut. So this is Burt's Bees brand. It's going to cut right through the baby powder. It's going to cut through all the makeup that we've used. You're not going to be able to wash this off just by getting in the shower. It is going to take something that can cut through those oils. So, Neutrogena is a really good brand. They cut through all the blood and stuff like that. Oil of Olay has a really good one too, but I really do honestly not recommend baby wipes at all. There's also a very old method of putting cold cream on your skin and then rubbing it off with paper towels. Don't do that. It's not fun. I used to do that many, many moons ago before I knew these tricks. So invest in some makeup wipes that are specifically made for this. You'll be saving yourself a lot of trouble and a lot of hassle. See how quickly those came off? Boom. Boom, done. Gone. Now, this has got baby powder on it. Gone. It's so much easier that way. So invest in some of those. Now, the bloods that we're going to be talking about are water soluble. Those will wash off with a little bit of water, but anything oil-based, you really need to get some makeup wipes for. Pardon me. Now, let's talk sponges and brushes. So, this guy right here, this is a stipple sponge. It is a plasticky kind of a sponge. And you can see it's very porous. It's got a lot of little scrapes here on the edges. It's really good for creating holes and dots and scrapes and scratches and things like that. So, you're going to want some regular wedges, you're going to want some stipple sponges, and you're definitely going to want some brushes in your kit. Now, I believe that I've covered all that. Let's get to the fun stuff. Blood. So, the first kind of blood that I want to talk about is this guy right here. Ben Nye Stage Blood Zesty Mint Mouth Flavor. This is an edible blood. It is 100% safe to put in your mouth, to swallow. This is film grade blood. This is used by actors on The Walking Dead who have to hold blood in their mouth for long, long periods of time, that have to look like they are eating appendages and things like that. This should only go inside and around your mouth. This should never, ever, ever be used in copious amounts on your body, on your costumes, or on anything that we use in the room, such as the chain or the handcuffs. Now, the reasoning behind that is, this is made of corn syrup. This is 100% corn syrup and food coloring. So, if anybody out there watches Archer, that's how you get ants. You don't want to cover the chain in this. You don't want to put this on your hands. It's incredibly sticky and messy. It is made to stay on there for long periods of time, but only around your mouth. I'm also saying this because I'm a poor, starving artist, and this stuff is expensive, guys. If you're going to invest in the good quality makeup, you need to be willing to spend the money to make that investment. And you don't want to be wasting this by slathering the chain or your arms or your legs or anything like that. There are body-safe bloods that we're going to go over, but please save yourself the time and the hassle. Be conscientious of the other people that you're working with in your room that this is going to make a mess. If you get it on the chain, it's going to rust the chain. You're going to attract little bugs, and someone's going to be sitting in a big sticky pile of mess. So, use this inside of and around your mouth. Now, the great thing about this stuff is that it's runny. It's in liquid form. Like I said, it's corn syrup. So it's basically the consistency of maple syrup with red food dye in it. So, what we can do, I don't share this one with anyone, so I can put my mouth on it. Ah! And now you see. Still, it's actually pretty tasty. I'm not gonna lie. Excuse me, pardon me. It is actually pretty tasty. It's mint flavored, so it's not going to make your breath smell bad or anything like that. It's not really going to stain your teeth for any longer than a couple of seconds. It's really good for an oozing effect. Now, next up, oh, actually, before I forget, this is also how you make blood capsules. Now, blood capsule, you won't have to sit there and hold this blood in your mouth for a long period of time. It is sticky, not super duper comfortable after a while. And especially if you want an effect where it's a surprise. Let's say you want to pop out of the cabinet and then chomp down and ooze that blood right out. What you can do is go to your local health food store and get some of these. These are gelatin capsules that are made to fill herbal supplements, and you just use a eyedropper or a funnel, anything like that, and you can fill these and make your own blood capsules. Now, again, Ben Nye makes these pre-made. You get about, I believe it's 20 empty capsules in a box with some Zesty Mint mouth blood. But if you've already got the mouth blood, this cost me, I believe, $5 for 500 capsules. So, next up, next type of blood, Ben Nye Fresh Scab. There's two varieties of these. There's Fresh Scab and there is Thick Blood. They have a very, very, very small difference between them, mostly in the coloring. But if you purchase either Fresh Scab or Thick Blood, they will both give you the same effect. Now, this is not a liquid blood like the Zesty Mint mouth blood. This is in a gel paste consistency. Now, this is still 100% edible. This is safe to put around your mouth. It's safe to put a little bit inside your mouth if you're licking blood or anything like that. Absolutely 100% safe. So in the same way that I'm trying to stress that you shouldn't use the liquid mouth blood on your body, don't use body bloods in your mouth. We want to differentiate between the two and make sure that we're being safe and we're not ingesting any chemicals that we shouldn't be. But this, totally safe to use in your mouth. Now, I showed you the stipple sponge before. This is best to use with a stipple sponge. And what I like to do, after I turn up my music a little bit, is because it's plasticky and it's got these porous elements, it catches and it makes road burn kind of scrapes on your skin. You can also make little wounds like that. And And again, because this is expensive stuff, I don't want to cover my arms in this. I don't want to cover my legs in this. This is really for head and neck and definitely around your mouth. So, because I've got the veins on the other side, what I'm going to do is, you see, I'm just kind of blotting it with my stipple sponge. And it already looks like Zombie has had a very healthy meal today. If you drag it down, that's how you get more of that scrape kind of a look. And if you blot it, that's when you get more of that sort of splotchy splatter wound effect. Again, this is also corn syrup. It's a slightly drier corn syrup, so it's not runny the same way that the first liquid mouth blood is, but it is a little bit sticky. It is a little bit chunky. And you definitely want to make sure that you do this after you powder, if you're using the powder method. If you get baby powder on top of your blood, you're not going to be able to brush it off the same way that you can with the powder, and it's going to get stuck in there and look really muted. Now, because this stuff is so dark, if you really pile it on, it starts to make it look like the wound is deeper. The darker it is, the deeper it looks. You see, like that right there. Now that's starting to turn into a nice deep gouge. There we go. So, because I've been doing this for so long, I have 7 different types of blood in my arsenal. I've shown you 2 already. I want to show you a couple others that you can use. Let's skip to another song while we're at it. And the next type of blood that I'm going to show you is eye blood. I keep going back to eyes and mouths because they are key elements for this. So one thing that I found, Krylon brand eye blood. Now, I told you guys I don't like to put contacts in my eyes, but this is 100% safe to go in your eyes. It is Visine, basically. It's a bottle of Clear Eyes with a little bit of coloring in it. And how this works is you just put it in. It's got an eyedropper right here. You can put it right inside of your water line, and then it just drips right down. It's really fun to use. It gives a really creepy, spooky effect, and it's 100% safe. And again, this is the Krylon brand eye blood. It fills up your entire sclera. It sits there in the fluid in your eye for about 30 seconds, maybe up to a full minute before you have to reapply. So the effect doesn't last long, but the trail of blood under your eye and down your face can be very effective and very creepy in the room. So now that I finally gotten the bottle open, I'll show you guys. And again, be creative with your zombies, guys. Take whichever tips you like the most and whichever ones you find most interesting. Some people are really uncomfortable putting stuff in their eyes. I really don't mind this. So, just put it in, just like Visine. There it goes. It feels a little dry. It feels like your eye wants to reject it, so it's going to start tearing up involuntarily, but it's not painful at all by any means. Now, if you want to put blood under and near your eye, only use stuff like this that's absolutely safe for it. Don't put any of the mouth blood near your eye. That goes without saying, but And you see, it's already kind of starting to push its way out of my sclera, but my zombie's starting to look pretty banged up. Now, the next kind of blood that I want to talk to you guys about, this stuff is really fun. This is called mass casualty blood powder. It goes on in a powder form, and then it's activated when water hits it. Now, one way you can achieve that is squirting it, or if you're using any sort of weapons in a show, getting smacked with a shovel or anything like that. This stuff is really good for that. So as you can see, there's so many different types of blood out there, and if you're a dork like me, and a horror nut, and a zombie freak, then this stuff can get really fun. Now, the last blood that I want to talk about before we quickly get into latex is body blood. Now, again, please don't use the Ben Nye all over your body. It's really sticky and it's really expensive. So what I have found is this. This is my big gallon of blood. Now, the big gallon costs about 25 bucks, and that's it. This is just from Party City. They sell this brand in the Halloween stores in Party City year-round. They sell them at the makeup store near me. This is not safe to eat. Do not put this in your mouth. Back in my early haunt days, I did that. And it tastes really bad. It's really, really, really bad. So please, do not put this inside of or around your mouth for an oozing effect. Now, zombie has to sneeze. Gesundheit. Now, this stuff is great for costuming. It's great for your limbs if you want to put it on your hands and your neck and your legs. The great thing about this stuff is that it does not stain. I have used this shirt at Zombie for about a year now. I've got 3 different tank tops that I alternate back and forth. This has been stained several times. Every time I wash it, it comes out perfectly clean. So, this is awesome for body blood. Again, they sell it by a couple different names. This is the one I have left over from last year called Vampire Blood. This is Gallon of Blood. They come in smaller containers, such as this size, though this is actually a large container of Ben Nye mouth blood. You can get these little, gosh, what is this? 16 fluid ounces. So you don't have to invest in full gallon. I recommend it just to have one in the room, in the backstage area for the actors, just so everyone can use it. Now, what's really cool about this stuff is that it's very runny, but it dries very quickly, and when it dries, it actually starts changing color like actual blood. I mean, you can see I've got a couple different shades on me right now between the fresh scab and the eye blood. This will start to oxidize and start to look dark like actual real blood, which is pretty freaky. Now, people seem to love blood in the ears too. That really grosses them out. And like I said, this is great for bodies, limbs, hands. Cover your hands. Your key area on your body, just like I said, your key areas on your face or your eyes and your mouth, your key area on your body is going to be your hands. Make sure Oxy's reaching out. And some nice bloody claws. Now, you don't want to carry around your whole bucket. I don't necessarily like to have a full gallon on me at all times. You can put it in a squirt bottle, just like this. I like to dilute it a little bit with water, so then it's referred to in the industry as 1 part 1 blood. 1 part water, 1 part blood. And just squirt yourself very liberally. And as I said before, I do a lot of work in hospitals and shock trauma units. This blood is so realistic looking that it has freaked out actual hospital staff before. It's got a very dark color. It's got a very thick but runny consistency. Spread it on your arms, spread it on your legs. You can see this part is already dry. Up here, it dries super fast. So like I promised, all of these things can be achieved in 10 minutes or less once you have the right tools and once you've practiced a little bit and you know how to use those tools. Now, the very last thing that I want to show you guys is liquid latex. Liquid latex is great for creating wounds, for creating different kinds of skin. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can use liquid latex, but the first thing that you should do is a quick allergy test. A lot of people are allergic to latex and they don't realize it until a lot later in their lives when they've had a lot of different contact with it. So take just a little tiny bit, and again, this comes in this large size and it also comes in a smaller size like this. You can even get them as small as, say, this bottle right here if you just need a little tiny bit to start out. But the way this stuff works is, think back to elementary school, and if you ever covered your hand in liquid Elmer's glue to try and make some new skin. Anybody ever do that? Or is it just me? Was I the weirdo? Well, hopefully you did, because you can see it dries very, very quickly. Now, one thing we can do with liquid latex is make smooth skin, like down here on my forearm. Once the smooth skin dries, you can cut it, you can poke little holes in it, you can put blood inside, underneath of the pockets and the holes that you've created, and you can make them look like 3D flesh wounds. Now, we're going to have to wait for that to dry, so I'm going to show you how to make zombie flesh. Now, what we do is we pat it like this, and that helps make it dry a little bit faster. See, it's starting to stick together. And see what's happening here is we're getting rips and tears. We're getting some chunky kind of formations down at the bottom. And then once you peel it off, you can roll this into a gross wound. Now you want to make sure it's still got a little bit of stick left so you can put it somewhere. To secure that, I'm just going to take a little bit more latex and connect it to where I placed it on my skin. There we go. Now you can see as it's drying, it starts to change color. It's getting darker there in the center. So while I wait, I'm just going to make some more zombie rotted skin. Swoosh it around in my hands, pat them back and forth to get that moisture out until it starts sticking together. There you go, you can see all that. Starts coming off really easily. Now the way I learned about liquid latex was we used this in a show back when I was in college for a burn victim. It's really great with creating all different kinds of skin effects. Torn, ripped, rotted, and diseased. There we go. Now, this is the flesh tone that I purchased because it's the closest to my actual skin tone. What you can do is, if it's not close to your skin tone or you can't find one, put some cream-based makeup over top of it. You see right now that's a little darker than the zombie skin that I made since I paled myself out. So what we can do is, once it dries, you can absolutely put any of the cream makeups on it, or you can just put blood on it. Blood will cover a multitude of sins. So there we go. I've still got some sticking. So I'm just going to roll my hands. It starts bunching up. It starts collecting on itself. And you can make little veins if you roll it in a circle. You can make a nice chunky layer. And again, just play around with stuff, see how it feels. Liquid latex, the size bottle that I have, I believe that one was about $30. It has lasted me for a very long time. This a little bit goes a long way with this stuff. And again, seeing that nice torn effect. Now you see this is almost dry. It's much, much darker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these little gross bits that I've already made and start sticking it to it. There we go. And like I said, it starts sticking to itself. Make sure it is partially dry, and it'll start to get that tacky feeling. There we go. Got plenty left there. There it goes. All right. Now we've got some nice rotted flesh with some nice texturing to it. Now, I have really long nails, so I just like to pick at it with my nails. If you don't have long nails, you can pull it up like this. You can take some small manicure scissors or a safety pin and start making holes like that, or a nice big slice, anything you want. Now, I've put a little couple of holes in there. So what I'm going to do is you can fill those holes in with either a dark color or your fresh scab or some body blood. Really give your wounds some depth. I'm going to tear another hole up at the top here. And again, I have long fingernails. Maybe other people out there with long fingernails will be able to rip it in half yourself too, but don't be afraid to just pull it right up and clip it a little bit with some scissors. Now there we go. There we go. You can see the depth that it's creating. There we go. And like I said, blood covers a multitude of sins. So you can also cover your latex in blood. It's not going to mess with the consistency. It's not really going to make it disconnect from your skin or fall apart or anything. You see, this is totally fine. But another fun, gross thing is that if your latex falls off, it just looks like the zombie's rotting and falling apart. So again, don't be afraid if your latex doesn't look perfect at first. This is all about experimenting. It's all about trying what you like and trying to make yourself look as gross as humanly possible. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of my body blood, if I can find where I put it. Oh! Aha! Found it. Now, take my 1:1 body blood, put it right on top of my latex wound. And now we're really cooking. We've got depth, we've got shadows, we've got open wounds that are oozing, we've got dangling bits of skin. Now, one last thing I'm going to show you is I'm going to put a little bit of latex on my face. Now, really what you want to do is put your latex on first before you put your cream makeups on or anything like that. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to put it right here on top of what I have already created. Now, right now, like I showed you guys on my arm, it looks very smooth. I could let it dry like this. I could make a nice hole or a tear in there. But what I really want to do is I want to make some of that rotted kind of skin like I made on my arm. So again, making it nice and tacky, spreading it out, getting the moisture out. And there we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slap it right on top. That's still a little wet. All right, let's give it another second to dry so that it sticks better. And you can see just kind of wiped out of the way. It didn't quite get tacky enough yet. So let's see how it's doing now. There we go. Now I've got some 3D texture on the face. Got some skin that looks like it's peeling. And to disguise that color, just going to go right over it with some blood. Here we go. So before you use latex, make sure you do your allergy test. Play around with different textures, whether you want it smooth, if you want a flap of skin, if you want a hole, a gouge, a big gash, anything like that. And just have fun with it. I'm really excited that I got to share this with you guys. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for making it all the way to the end of these videos. I hope that I've taught you guys some things, and please, if you are so inclined, if you need some inspiration or anything like that, I have a website. You can also add me here on Facebook. Let's see. Bear with me for a second. I wrote it in here somewhere. Made it to the end without messing up. Ah! Found it. All right. So, you can check me out on Instagram or on Facebook. Go to my website if you want to look at some different zombie looks. I've got a couple different things up there that you guys might enjoy. It's been great, and happy haunting.